Ani, Bonjour, Beneshi, Nidishkas, Mishika Nidojo. Traverse City, Nidojo. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing this evening? All right, let's hear it. Come on, let's go. That's what this is for. This is to build that fire in us, okay? I really want to thank you all for coming out and supporting this. This is a very wonderful cause. I'm not going to speak much this evening about Pipeline 5. We have many highly qualified individuals here that are better at that than I. Tonight, I'd like to speak about all of the good things that I see coming out of this fight against Pipeline 5. In this fight, I see unity between nations. In this fight, I see our tribal fishermen and the sport fishermen who have traditionally been at odds over various smaller issues coming together and now saying the same thing, which is shut down Pipeline 5. In this fight, I see our tribal nations and the surrounding communities that have unified their efforts and have joined forces to shut down Pipeline 5. And in essence, we have created a people's environmental network, if you will, which canvasses the entire state of Michigan, that has come together to not only shut down Pipeline 5, but to serve notice to our elected state officials that we, the people of the state of Michigan, are watching you very, very closely. And we will not tolerate any hostile actions towards our Great Lakes or the environmental networks that they are comprised of. In this fight, I see a determination in the people of the state of Michigan, a will forged out of love and respect for our environment. I see an entire statewide network of environmental activists that have come together for one larger cause. So I call on you, the representatives of the state of Michigan, to do the right thing and shut down Pipeline 5. This is not Standing Rock where you think you can wait for a little while and we'll all go home. We are home. We are Michigan. And the only result we will accept is the decommission and shutdown of Pipeline 5. Yeah. The city of Kalamazoo has already taken the necessary action to support the shutdown of Line 5. So kudos to those true leaders who took that action, because we can all take a page from their playbook. And we dodged a bullet with Line 6 because that could easily have been Pipeline 5. And we'd all be attending Lake Michigan's funeral right now instead of a symposium to try to save it. So please, get involved, take action to save the Great Lakes. Please don't wait until it's too late. It's already happened once here in our state, and it's going to happen again. So, people of the state of Michigan, please don't turn your heads on this issue. With your help, we can shut down this pipeline. And to the state officials, I ask you, please don't roll the dice with our Great Lakes. The loss of life here would be catastrophic. So, Chippewa and keep fighting the good fight. Thank you.
So right now, I'd like to introduce Michigan State Senator Rick Jones, Republican, 24th District.
Does anybody have any idea how many people drink Great Lakes water? 40 million. 40 million. And it's going to be more in the future, because Genesee County is going to hook up to Lake Huron. Ottawa County has a unique aquifer. It's like a clay bowl within a clay bowl, so the aquifer is not replenishing well, and people are starting to draw salt water. So Ottawa County will probably connect up to Lake Michigan. But that's okay, because we have signed a compact with all the Great Lakes states and Canada that only if you're in the watershed can you use the water. This is so important to all the Great Lakes states and to Canada. This water, some of the most pristine in the world. And you know what the Michigan Constitution says? It says it's the legislators' duty to protect our natural resources. Can you think of any bigger one? 56 billion gallons of water are used every day for drinking, for agriculture, and industrial use. So we're talking about jobs too. You know, as the Southwest dries up because they're building houses out in the desert and they wonder why they don't have any water, they're going to start moving here to Michigan. They're going to bring even more jobs here where they belong, where we have the water. Now let's talk a little bit about how long it would take for a lake to clear itself. Unbelievable. If Lake Superior is polluted, it would take 191 years to purify. Lake Michigan, 99 years. And Lake Huron, at least 22 years to purify. We can't play games with our water. People can't drink oil, period. Now these oil lines, they're probably the most dangerous place it could be, the Straits. The Straits, where the lakes come together, it makes no sense to put them there. You know what they paid to put them there? In 1953, $2,450. Yep. Now with inflation today, that would be a grand total of $21,757 for the right to put oil lines under our water and endanger this wonderful resource. University of Michigan did a study, and if lines were to rupture, it would probably cover at least 700 miles. There would be no Mackinac Island. Fishing would be destroyed. Tourism would be destroyed. Why would we take that chance? So Enbridge, a Canadian oil company, could take a shortcut to the state of Michigan to get over to Sarnia, where they refine it, make it into gasoline. They have other oil lines right now in Ontario that they can use. They don't need to cross the water. The problem is up in the UP, they think they have to keep it. They like the tax dollars the pipeline provides. And up there in Escanaba, they let off a little bit of gas to make propane used for heating. And they have this big fear, if we're to cut it off, that their propane is going to go up in price. Probably for the amount they use, we could use a few trucks to truck that much in. Or the line could ship them all the propane they want up to Escanaba. Just don't run it across the Great Lakes. There's no reason for it, period. Now these, line 5 there, it's about 64 years old. It's the same as the line down there around Marshall, Michigan. When Marshall, Michigan burst, the line flooded the Kalamazoo River back close to where I grew up, Battle Creek, Michigan. And my own mother-in-law had to sell her home. She wasn't right on the water, she was across the road, but the odor was so horrendous, she had to sell her home to Enbridge. Fortunately, she was a senior, she accepted it, went to a senior home. But many families, they had their life dream, their home destroyed. Destroyed by this oil that they said would never leak into the Kalamazoo River. I have introduced Senate Bill 292. I introduced it in the last term. I've introduced it again this year. It has both Republican and Democrat support, but we don't have enough. We need more people to stand up. What this bill says is Line 5 will be inspected, not by the company. They like to inspect their own. No, by a third party, and if there's anything wrong with it, it will ensure that the pipeline is shut down. It goes way beyond that. It says, never again will we put oil under our water. Again. Now, let me tell you what happened the first time I introduced the bill. Enbridge flew in people immediately the next day. They came from all over Texas and all over the place, asked to meet with me in my office. And they tried everything to get me to change my mind. And they went throughout Michigan, with their oil money and made lots of donations. All legal. I'm not accusing anybody of committing a crime, but we're up against big oil, folks. We've got to stand up. We've got to stand up and say no more. This is our water. This is our future. And you're not going to dump oil in our water.
That's right.
Now, there's another threat. I realize tonight is all about oil, but I want to bring this to your attention because you may not have heard about it. Aquaculture. There are corporations out there that want to put giant floating nets out into the Great Lakes waters and grow fish. Massive, massive amounts of fish compacted in a small area. They've even got the farmers on board, some of them, because they say we'll be able to sell more soybeans for fish food. So they want to raise these farm fish out in our Great Lakes so people in Chicago can buy an expensive fish dinner, I guess. But it's not needed. What happens when you concentrate fish like that? Giant amounts of fish poo in one area, and you have algae blooms. What happens if the net gets torn and those fish get out and compete with our other fish? Disaster. There's absolutely no reason to do this. We can have aquaculture inland, and when the water gets soil, it can be clean. You know, before it's put back into a river or lake. Good common sense stuff. Don't let them turn Lake Michigan into a toilet bowl. Stand with us. Thank you.
Michigan State Representative Yusuf Robbie, Democrat, Ann Arbor.
How's everybody doing? All right. So I want to start with a personal story that I experienced back in 2015. I was on so I worked for the University of Michigan Botanical Gardens and Arboretum, which is an awesome place if you haven't been there. And they were sending me on a conference to California to learn about volunteer coordination. I was a volunteer coordinator at the time. And I went to Santa Barbara, California, 2015, September. In May of that year, they had experienced an oil rig that had spilled oil into the Pacific Ocean and it had washed ashore. I was there in September. When I went down to the beach, even after the cleanups and the mitigation, there was oil on the beach, in the sand. No matter where you walked, there were little beads. It looked like little black rocks, so when you bent down to pick them up, it was oil. It was oil. You couldn't walk anywhere without stepping on oil, without touching oil. And those were just in the areas of the beach that actually looked like sand. Because the rest of the beach, the parts that had been sectioned off, it was just black tar. Just big piles, big mounds of black tar. That's all it was. No beach. At first, when I got down there, I didn't know that they had an oil spill. I was like, what are these weird black geologic features? I wonder if there's some, interesting feature of this area of California, because I'd never been there before. It was tar from the oil spill on the beach. That was an eye-opening experience for me. That was an eye-opening experience for me because when I got back home to Michigan, and I thought about the context of the conversation that we're having today, I pictured myself as a kid going down to the Great Lakes with my family, going down camping on Lake Michigan, and enjoying myself on the beach, swimming in the waters of our Great Lakes. And I imagined myself as a child standing there with that oil around me, and how I would have felt, how I would feel today if that was happening right in our backyard, in our Great Lakes, on our beaches, to our kids. That was a powerful moment for me. It was a powerful moment for me. Now, I've always been sold on environmental issues. I've always been a fighter for the environment ever since I was in preschool. It's true. I don't know how many of you know the story, but when I was in preschool in Ann Arbor, we actually adopted a segment of a creek near our house. And we would go down to the creek as kids, and we would study the little insects in the water and try to get a better understanding of how, when we put pesticides and herbicides on our lawns, how that impacted the creek. We would go down and we'd pull plastic bags and bottles and shopping carts out of the creek. And as a kid, I learned how important the environment was and how impactful humans can be in a negative way on the environment, but also how we can change, how we can make our environment better, how we can be stewards of the earth. So I've always been a fighter for the environment. And that's why I was proud to introduce House Resolution 51, which calls on the Governor and the Attorney General to shut down Line 5. Now, I didn't get the treatment that Senator Jones did, which, by the way, let's give another round of applause to Senator Jones. He's been a phenomenal leader on this issue for so many years, and he deserves our respect. No oil executives flew down to hang out with me, which I was kind of disappointed about. I kind of wanted to ask him some questions, but I think that they've kind of written me off already, so which is fine. That's cool. But this is a really important issue that we all need to work on. As we look at this issue, as we look at our Great Lakes, as we look at our state as a whole, as we look at the challenges, global warming, the challenges to our planet, people often ask me how I can maintain a positive focus, positive vision for how the future is going to be, because there is so much bad that is happening in the world. And I often go back to this notion that we all in this room, we know what we want, right? We want clean water. We want clean air. We want an environment that is healthy, ecosystems that work, biodiversity. We want to restore our plants and animals and ecosystems in Michigan that have lived for thousands of years in our state. We know what we want. But the path to get there is a difficult one. The path to get there requires a struggle. And it is a struggle that we've been engaged in for many years. Unfortunately, it's going to be a struggle that we will be engaged in for many years to come, whether on this issue or other issues. And so I don't get bogged down at one loss here or one loss there, because I know that there is an inevitability to things. An inevitability to the triumph of the earth over the forces of industrialization. The triumph of pure water over oil. The triumph of clean air over smokestacks. It doesn't seem like we're going to get there right now. These times seem very dark. But it's when we come together as a state, as a community, it is when we fight for clean air and clean water and healthy, biodiverse ecosystems. It is when we fight and come together that we can win. I often go back in my own heart to the idea of struggle and what it means. The idea of struggle is a difficult process. The arc of the moral universe bends slowly, but it bends towards justice. And I see that with the environment too. It is a slow path, but we know where we're going. We know where we're going. It is a difficult and long march to that place. But we can't give up, because our kids are depending on it. Future generations are depending on it. And just like the seventh generation analogy or discussion that was happening earlier, I like to think about activism in that same way. Some of what we're doing here, and some of what we will do in our lifetimes, is part of a struggle that will transcend our lives. It is a struggle that will transcend our existence on this planet. It is a struggle that we must pass on to our children. It is a struggle that we must pass on to our grandchildren. We must instill in them the struggle to fight, to persevere, to keep on trying to achieve that goal that we all know is attainable one day. So let us not lose hope. Let us not fear the oil company lobbyists, the forces that want us to keep a pipeline endangering our Great Lakes. Let us not fear the small losses that we may encounter in the path ahead. For in the end, if we fight together, if we work together, we will persevere. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our tribal government has taken action, and we have a couple of resolutions here that I want to talk about real briefly. Resolution 15-33.2602 was a resolution we did in 2015 that, to get to the end line here, it further be resolved, the Grand Traverse Band of Ottawa and Chippewa Indians resolved that the Enbridge Line 5 pipeline should be removed from the Straits of Mackinac. And that was adopted in 2015. And then this last time, Resolution 17-35.2876, be it further resolved that the GTB will continue to support the decommissioning of Line 5 as evidenced by joining litigation challenging Line 5 and continuing to introduce resolutions that support our stance against Line 5. By facilitating and participating in rallies that GTB has sponsored, wherein GTB citizens have taken place throughout the state of Michigan. Be it further resolved, GTB commends Representative Yusuf Rabbi for introducing House Resolution 51, and that his action and language in the body of the resolution reflect the deepest concerns GTB has regarding Line 5. Also, I want to say to the community right now that on our next meeting, we will have a further resolution supporting Bill number 292 through the Senate for Senator